Did you know that some people treat their birthday like any other day? Not out of apathy, but out of complex layers of psychology that reveal far more than a simple dislike for attention. On the surface, it might look like modesty or indifference, someone declining a party, brushing off greetings, or insisting it's just another day. But beneath that calm exterior, the decision to downplay one's birthday often carries a deeper emotional architecture. For many, birthdays represent a mirror, reflecting not just age but self-worth, expectation, and the passage of time. People who treat their birthday like a normal day often share one subtle trait, an internalized discomfort with self-celebration. Psychologically, this can stem from early experiences where joy was conditional, where attention felt unsafe or undeserved, or where emotional needs were minimized. When someone grows up learning that asking for recognition is selfish or that too much attention brings judgment, they subconsciously learn to make themselves small, even on days meant to honor them. Their modesty is not lack of desire, but a learned protection. Another layer of this mindset comes from a quiet resistance to societal pressure. In cultures that glorify birthdays as spectacles of happiness and social validation, some people reject the ritual as performative. They may see it as artificial, an obligation, rather than an authentic expression of joy. For these individuals, choosing not to celebrate becomes a form of autonomy, a quiet rebellion against the scripted expectation that birthdays must be special. It's their way of saying, I don't need a date on the calendar to feel grateful or valued. Yet underneath that independence can lie something softer and more fragile, a fear of disappointment. The psychology of low expectations is powerful. If you expect nothing, you can't be let down. People who treat their birthday like a normal day sometimes do so to protect themselves from the sting of unmet hopes. Maybe there was a year they waited for a call that never came, or a childhood where birthdays passed unnoticed, or friends who forgot. So they learn to preempt the pain by pretending they don't care. It's emotional armor disguised as nonchalance. Some even go further, convincing themselves that celebration is unnecessary or childish, when in reality they have simply lost trust in being celebrated sincerely. There's also a dimension of control at play. Life is unpredictable, and birthdays heighten that awareness. Another year older, another reminder of time slipping away. By treating it as a normal day, people regain a sense of control over that anxiety. They reduce it to routine, keeping existential reflection at bay by maintaining normalcy. It's just a day, they say, but what they often mean is, I can't afford to feel everything this day brings. Psychologically, this mechanism resembles emotional regulation, an attempt to manage internal turbulence through external neutrality. And it works, at least superficially. The day passes quietly, the world remains stable, and they can continue functioning without emotional interruption. But it also robs them of an opportunity for self-recognition, a moment to pause and witness their own survival, growth, or endurance. Another factor is introversion and sensitivity to social overstimulation. For introverted individuals, birthdays can feel like forced extroversion, an event where one must perform happiness and gratitude under the spotlight. They may prefer to spend the day in reflection, solitude, or simple peace. Their avoidance is not sadness, but serenity, a preference for authenticity over expectation. In psychology, this ties to self-determination theory, which highlights the human need for autonomy and competence. To celebrate in one's own quiet way can be deeply fulfilling, even if others misinterpret it as indifference. Interestingly, research on affective forecasting, the ability to predict how events will make us feel, suggests that many people overestimate the joy of celebrations. After all, anticipation can create pressure. What if the day doesn't feel special enough? What if others forget? People who minimize their birthday often understand this cognitive bias instinctively. By expecting little, they preserve emotional equilibrium. For them, happiness found in ordinary days feels more reliable than the fleeting high of one symbolic event. There's also a social perception angle. Some people equate maturity with restraint. They might believe that adults shouldn't need validation for existing, that true confidence lies in detachment. Why should I celebrate just for being alive, they say, But often beneath that question lies a quieter one. Am I worth celebrating? This is where psychology meets vulnerability. Those who struggle with self-compassion often find it hardest to receive kindness without earning it. Birthdays confront them with unearned attention, praise simply for being, and that can feel deeply uncomfortable. It exposes the gap between how they see themselves and how others see them. So rather than face that dissonance, they normalize the day, wrap it in routine and move on. The paradox is that their very desire to avoid self-centeredness makes them seem self-denying. Some people too connect birthdays with existential awareness. They don't want to count years because each one reminds them of mortality. Aging anxiety, common but rarely admitted, turns birthdays into quiet reckonings. Every candle becomes a countdown. So they neutralize the meaning, treating it like any other day to soften the awareness of impermanence. Philosophically, it's a defense against the human fear of time. Emotionally, it's a way to keep life feeling continuous, rather than marked by milestones that emphasize change and loss. Yet not everyone who downplays birthdays does so from avoidance. For some, it's genuine contentment. They simply find joy in consistency, not occasions. They've redefined celebration as a daily practice, kindness to themselves, gratitude, simplicity. These individuals often display high emotional stability and internal locus of control. They don't depend on external markers to feel significant. They live their birthdays quietly, not because they don't care, but because every day already carries meaning. They've transcended the need for ceremony. The difference between avoidance and acceptance lies in emotional tone. The former feels tense, dismissive, or defensive. The latter feels peaceful and integrated. But to an outside observer, both may look identical. The same behavior, working through one's birthday, declining a party, ignoring gifts, can come from entirely opposite motivations. One rooted in pain, the other in calm. That's what makes human psychology so nuanced. It's never just about what people do, but why. Imagine two people declining a birthday dinner invitation. One is thinking, I don't deserve this attention. The other, I'm already content. I don't need anything more. The behavior matches, but the inner worlds couldn't be more different. And yet, both deserve empathy. Because even those who avoid celebration are telling a story with that choice, a story of how they learn to relate to joy, attention, and self-worth. Some people treat their birthday like a normal day because life taught them to minimize themselves to survive. Others do it because they've learned that peace is celebration enough. Some are healing, some are hiding, and some are simply happy in quiet ways. In all cases, it reflects a relationship with the self, how comfortable one feels being witnessed, appreciated, and loved. Psychology tells us that birthdays, more than any other ritual, expose our inner schema of value. They test how we handle praise, time, and identity. And when someone shrugs off their birthday, they're often revealing not indifference to life, but a specific narrative about it. Maybe it's I don't want to bother anyone, which masks I don't believe I matter enough to take up space. Maybe it's I just like normal days, which hides I fear expectations I can't meet. Or maybe it's something softer. Every day I wake up is enough. I don't need candles to prove it. Whatever the reason, it's worth listening to. Because the psychology of treating a birthday like a normal day isn't about rejecting joy, it's about redefining it. For some, it's protection. For others, peace. For all, it's profoundly human. And perhaps in a world obsessed with spectacle, there's quiet wisdom in that choice. Maybe the truest celebration isn't noise or gatherings or social media posts, but the silent recognition that you've made it this far, through everything, and you don't need anyone to tell you it matters. Maybe treating your birthday like a normal day is not an absence of joy, but a subtle, private affirmation. Life itself is enough.